Bill, congratulations on being inducted into the California Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Thank you. It's quite an honor.
Good. Well deserved. Uh, what individual probably had the greatest impact on you in the sport of wrestling?
I think it's really clear to me that it was the person who introduced me to the sport, and that was Bill Martell, who was my high school wrestling coach at Clayton Valley High School. I didn't start wrestling until my junior year, and he persuaded me to come out. And he was a wonderful coach.
How did he recruit you? Were you on a football team?
I was a football player, and they needed a heavyweight, and I went and watched a couple of matches, and it seemed like a pretty neat thing to do. And I had some friends on the team, and went out there, and Bill Martell and Roger Zino were the two coaches, and they were wonderful men and wonderful teachers and outstanding coaches. I remember them to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. Who is your wrestling idol or wrestling hero growing up?
Well, quite honestly, I'm not sure I had one, because I didn't really know anything about the sport until my junior year in high school, and it was just kind of a confined environment. And I think the first wrestler that I knew about was Dan Gable. Okay, and I read some things about him, and so if there was someone to look after, I'd say it would be him. Okay, I think that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What personal attribute do you think helped contribute to your success? Obviously, very successful football coach and wrestling coach.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that makes you tick there?
Diligence and hard work. It's very simple. That was ingrained in me by my mom, and I've kind of carried that through in everything that I do, the academic ends and wrestling. And I wasn't a very good wrestler, and I was taught to not quit and keep digging and be diligent and keep working. And I've applied those principles as a coach in both wrestling and football, and actually golf. I've coached golf, and they had some pretty good teams in all three.
That's great. Is there one memory that stands out in your mind, like the greatest moment that you had in the sport of wrestling?
There are numerous as a coach, but coming from where Oceana High School was, small school on the coast, not exactly in a wrestling hotbed, as our program developed, I met with T.J. Kerr when he was at San Jose State, asked him how to improve our program and get it up to the section and state level, and he helped us get into some of the bigger tournaments back in the 80s, and one of those was the Five Counties Invitational. And one of the most compelling accomplishments that we did was we finished second in the Five Counties without having anybody in the final matches. And that really validated what we were doing as a program and creating depth, and secondarily I won't use the word diligence again, of the wrestlers to fight their way through consolation brackets and so on. And so all in all, I think that was probably as gratifying as any of the championships that we won, was that weekend.
Yeah, I would think so. If you had the opportunity to start your career over again, is there anything that you would change? I'm sure we learn a lot through the...
I wouldn't change anything. The combination of athletes, parental support, faculty and administration support, assistant coaches, it was just a magical time at Oceana High School. I just happened to be there at the right time, and everything fit together. So when I talked to the wrestlers and their parents, they wouldn't change anything either. It would just stay the way it is. I think the only thing we might do different is have a little bit more energy, so we could have kept doing it maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
What would you like people to remember about Bill Gray?
I would like them, hopefully, to think that I was concerned more about the type of people and men that the wrestlers would become, as opposed to their win-loss records. Character is a big thing for me, and I would like people to sit back and say that coming through the Oceana Wrestling program was beneficial to them. And if they could say that, then we did a good job. Whether they were a JV wrestler, a varsity wrestler, a state champion, or a kid that hardly ever won a match. If they came out of it better men, then we did a good job.
No, I would agree with you. And once again, congratulations on being inducted in the California Wrestling Hall of Fame. Very well deserved.
Thank you so much. It's quite an honor.